Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Our mission, as always, is to take source material articles, research notes, and really pull out the core insights to help you get well-informed quickly.
Glad to be diving in.
Today, we're tackling a devotional piece. It's titled Only God, a Psalm 86 devotional. And the focus is really on finding what you truly need.
That's a big topic.
It is. This devotional is dated July 2, 2025, and it frames itself around quiet reflection. Inviting God's presence, not just to solve problems, but to understand who he actually is.
And that understanding of who he is, that's so key, because Psalm 86 itself, well, it's this incredibly raw, heartfelt prayer from David.
Right.
The devotional describes David as, overwhelmed, desperate, really honest, but also remarkably confident.
How does that work? Desperate and confident.
Well, that's the fascinating part. His confidence, the text points out, comes directly from knowing God's character, his unchanging nature.
Okay, so that sets up our central question for this deep dive, doesn't it? How does understanding who God truly is change how we approach our own needs, our struggles?
Exactly. What can David's prayer teach us about where we instinctively turn for comfort or for strength or even just direction?
Let's start with David's initial plea. It's so vulnerable. We see this in verses 1 through 4 of Psalm 86. He cries out, "Incline your ear, O Lord, and answer me, for I am poor and needy."
Poor and needy. It paints a picture.
It really does. He says he cries out all the day, lifting his soul to God, asking for grace, asking God to gladden the soul of his servant. It's just completely open, no pretense.
But what's amazing, and you touched on this, is how that vulnerability connects straight to trust. Even in that state, that desperation, he calls God my God. That's verse 2.
Ah, right, that possessive, my God.
Exactly. It's personal. He fully expects an answer because he calls on him in the day of my trouble. That's verse 7. So it's not just, throwing a prayer out into the void. It really is a declaration of reliance on someone he knows. It's directed trust.
Okay, so David's plea is raw, but it's rooted in this deep trust. And then the devotional seems to pivot, really zeroing in on one specific verse, Psalm 86.7.
The anchor point.
Yeah. For you are great and do wondrous things. You alone are God. This seems to be the absolute core.
It's hugely significant. You alone are God. That exclusivity is powerful. And David reinforces it, doesn't he? He contrasts it in verse 8. There is none like you among the gods, O Lord, nor are there any works like yours.
So he's setting God completely apart.
Completely. He's saying there's no comparison. Nothing else people might worship or rely on even comes close. And then verse 9, he says, all nations will eventually come and worship God and glorify his name.
Which underlines that unique sovereignty.
Absolutely. His unique power over everything. There's simply no rival.
So understanding that uniqueness, the devotional then moves into its reflection section.
Yeah.
And it asks a really pointed question. Who is God to you, really?
Makes you stop and think.
It does. And it points out that David doesn't just ask for help. He describes God using this incredibly rich language. He calls God, good, forgiving, merciful, gracious, faithful, powerful, comforting, and saving.
And those aren't just abstract ideas for David. He ties them to specific experiences and promises right there in the psalm. Look at verse 5. For you, O Lord, are good and forgiving, abounding in steadfast love to all who call upon you.
Steadfast love. That term keeps coming up.
It does. It's crucial. It means that loyal, covenant, unwavering love. And then again in verse 15. But you, O Lord, are a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness.
So mercy, grace, patience, love, faithfulness. It's quite a list.
It is. And that steadfast love is shown to be incredibly powerful. Verse 13 talks about God delivering David's soul from the depths of Sheol.
Sheol. That's like the grave, the underworld.
Sort of the deepest pit, yeah. Signifying rescue from absolute despair, a complete deliverance, showing the power behind that steadfast love.
And the devotional really emphasizes this point, saying these aren't just poetic words. They're real traits of a real God who really listens.
Which brings it right into the present, doesn't it?
Exactly. So if we take that seriously, what does it mean for us today? If we believe these attributes are real, active, listening.
Well, it changes where we look first, right?
Which leads us to the next big question the devotional poses. Are you looking for comfort, strength, or direction today? Where are you actually searching?
And it offers that contrast. It acknowledges, we might look for those things in people or maybe in success or achievements or even just distraction. Scrolling, watching something.
All right. Anything to avoid the need, maybe?
Perhaps. But David's prayer and the devotional's core message cuts through that. It reminds us, only God is truly God.
Only God. So the source we need isn't found in the world.
Well, the insight here is that what you need most, he already is. Instead of chasing temporary fixes or external validation, the invitation is to come to the one who is goodness, who is strength, who is comfort.
Wow. Okay, so it's not about getting something from God necessarily, but about coming to God himself. Because his very nature is what fulfills our deepest needs.
That seems to be the heart of it. Stop chasing the what and come to the who.
Which leads to that really practical self-reflection point of the devotional. Which specific attribute of God do you need to hold on to right now?
Is it his faithfulness, his mercy, his power?
And if David found confidence in knowing you alone are God, how does that core belief change how you face whatever you're up against?
And David shows us how it works. He's facing real enemies, right? Verse 14 talks about insolent men, a band of ruthless men who basically ignore God. These are serious threats.
Yeah, not abstract worries, real danger.
Definitely. But notice how he frames his requests. He anchors them in God's character. Verse 16, turn to me and be gracious to me. Give your strength to your servant. He's asking for God's own strength.
He's drawing on God's attributes.
Precisely. He even asks for a sign of your favor in verse 17, so his enemies will see that God is helping and comforting him. It's about God's reputation, too.
And it's not just about rescue, is it? Verse 11.
Ah, good point. Verse 11. Teach me your way, O Lord, that I may walk in your truth. Unite my heart to fear your name. He wants guidance, alignment with God's truth, a focused heart. It's deeper than just fixing the immediate problem.
It's about transformation, rooted in who God is.
Yes. And what's the result of all this? Verse 12.
Thanksgiving. I give thanks to you, O Lord, my God, with my whole heart, and I will glorify your name forever. It feels like a natural response, not forced.
Because it flows from that understanding, that deep reliance on God's character, regardless of whether the outward circumstances have fully changed yet.
Okay, so let's wrap this up, bringing this deep dive to a close. What we've explored here through this devotional in Psalm 86 is, well, it's a really profound shift in perspective. It suggests that finding everything we truly need isn't about looking outwards, but inwards, towards the unique, unchanging character of God himself.
Right. Understanding who he is. Good, merciful, faithful, powerful, all those things we listed. That understanding gives us a solid place to stand. It's a foundation when everything else feels shaky. It stops us, or should stop us, from constantly seeking solutions elsewhere.
Yeah, looking to things that can't ultimately deliver. And that final prayer in the devotional kind of sums it all up. Lord, you are everything I need, good, gracious, and faithful. Help me stop searching elsewhere and come to you first.
Simple, but incredibly challenging.
It really is. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often do we instinctively run to people, to work, to distractions, to anything but the actual source of what we need?
A sobering thought.
So the question to leave you with is, what might it mean for you today, right now, to consciously stop searching elsewhere and come first to the one who already is everything you truly need?